Coming your way today on Philadelphia Eagles Now, we're going to take a look ahead and look at some prospects that the Eagles could target in the first round of the 2023 NFL Draft. As of right now, they could have a top 10 selection from the New Orleans Saints and then pick at the back end of the first round as well. You look at the draft picks at the disposal for Howie Roseman, great position to be in, right? Going into the 2023 offseason, they're top 5 as of right now in cap space, and they had a lot of premium draft capital as well. First round pick of their own, then that first round pick from the New Orleans Saints. They had their own second round pick and a third round selection. Not many middle round picks. They've given those away in trades over the years, and they get back onto the clock in the 7th round with their own pick and then another selection from the Minnesota Vikings in that Jalen Reagor trade. Before we continue on today's show and really take a deep dive look at some of these marquee draft prospects in that 2023 class, I want to hear from you in the comment section. Show off your football intellect, show off your football knowledge pertaining to this football team. What do you think is the biggest area of need for the Birds going into this offseason? Let us know right now in the comment section. And while you venture down there, make sure you subscribe to the show. Yes, the NFL Draft is next April, but we give you coverage year-round, and we cover it all here on Philadelphia Eagles Now. Draft coverage, free agency coverage, daily videos on the latest news, rumors, analysis, all 22. We also do watch parties and live shows. This upcoming Sunday, another watch party against the Tennessee Titans. Our number to beat in terms of total viewers this year, 40,000. Subscribe, and let's beat that number. We appreciate all of your support of the show. So Eagles draft prospects here. We're going to go through several, and let's just see what happens with that Saints selection, right? Will Anderson is a very intriguing prospect who could be available depending on when and where the Philadelphia Eagles do pick. This is the linebacker out of Alabama who the last 2 years has emerged as just a marquee, superior player for that Alabama defense. And the numbers that he's been able to put forward in 2021 as well as 2022, flat out stupid. Now, last year, he was certainly better than he's been this year, but keep in mind, he played 3 more games last year en route to a national championship game appearance in which they lost to the Georgia Bulldogs. But still, his numbers this year, nothing to scoff at. And this is a linebacker who can drop back in coverage. He can rush the passer. He can come off the edge and really be a Micah Parsons type of player. And if the Eagles are able to bring in a player like this, look out for this Eagles defense. 15 games played last year, 101 total tackles, 56 solo, 31 tackles for loss. So he was always in the backfield against the opposition. 17 and a half sacks in 15 games is just outstanding college production. And this year, in 12 games, the numbers are down, no question. Still has 10 sacks in what some people are saying is a down year as he got off to a little bit of a slow start. Keep in mind as we look forward as well, free agency class for the Eagles. It features a couple of linebackers, Kaiser White as well as TJ Edwards. I think that Edwards has earned himself a contract. I think that White has played better and pretty solid this year coming over from the Los Angeles Chargers, where last year he led that organization in tackles. But those two players, they ain't nothing like Will Anderson. Another Eagles draft prospect here, Bijan Robinson. This would go against my philosophy in drafting running backs in the first round, but Bijan Robinson is a hell of a player, and this is a guy who reminds me a lot of Josh Jacobs. He reminds me a lot of Saquon Barkley as a weapon who can catch the ball out of the backfield on a wheel route, and if he's matched up against a linebacker, good night. He'll leave you in the dust, but also run it in between the tackles and get out to the perimeter. Him, like Will Anderson, the production the last 2 years, video game-like numbers. Bijan Robinson in 2021, 1,100 plus rushing yards, average yards per carry at nearly 6, 26 catches, 295 yards, and 15 total touchdowns. A lot of people thought it wasn't going to be possible for Bijan Robinson to duplicate what he did last year. Well, how about this? He's been even better in 2022 than he was last year. It's helped that the offensive line has gotten better, but my goodness, Bijan, who in Austin, Texas, thanks to name, image, and likeness, is whipping around a Lamborghini, 1,500 plus rushing yards this year, so even more than last year. Average yards per carry is up from 5.8 to 6.1, 19 catches, less than last year, but more receiving yards, and 20 total touchdowns. Now, I did say and allude to the fact that taking a running back in the first round is against my philosophy with my team building approach. And the Philadelphia Eagles haven't drafted a first round in a long time, as we'll talk about coming up later in the show with another first round target at the end of the first round. But Miles Sanders is set to be a free agent. And if he's able to land a contract around $10 million, Bijan Robinson, even if you select him in the first round, top 10, he's still going to be cheaper. And it's yet another weapon on the arsenal of this Eagles offensive weaponry list. So if you had to pick a player between these two studs here to my right, Will Anderson, the linebacker for Alabama, or Bijan Robinson, the running back for Texas, who are you going with? WA for Anderson, BR for Bijan Robinson. Let us know right now in the comment section. Philadelphia Eagles now is sponsored by Fetch. You can earn points on any receipt from any store or restaurant. And here's the best thing about Fetch. It's super easy to use and free, and it lets you earn rewards on literally anything that you buy. Scan any physical receipt or e-receipt, and you will earn points for all of your purchases. You rack up those points. That leads to you getting free gift cards, and the process only takes seconds. You don't have to worry about where the receipt is from or what's on it. So let me show you how simple it is. All you can do is open up the Fetch app, press the orange camera button, snap a photo of your receipt, then hit submit, and you'll see that confetti pop showing you that you've earned more reward points. It's a simple process. You can also click the e-receipt function to get rewarded for your Amazon purchases or other online shopping by syncing your email account. You can then redeem those points for gift cards at places like Amazon, Starbucks, or any of the hundreds of retailers and restaurants available. Fetch is available. Good news here on iPhone and Android devices. So use our link, chatsports.com/fetch, and enter the promo code chat at your sign up. 5,000 points when you scan your first receipt using our link, which is a great deal. That's the equivalent of a free $5 gift card just to get started. It's a free app, and the 5,000 bonus points is only for a limited time only. So sign up today, start saving, get free gift cards in the process. This is an app that I use on the daily basis. More Eagles draft prospects to get to. According to Mel Kiper Jr., he has the former Penn State cornerback Joey Porter at about 14 on his overall big board. That falls in line with where that Saints pick could be. I say former Penn State cornerback because Joey Porter is not going to play in the team's bowl game. He has decided to forego that to enter his name in the NFL draft. This is one of my favorite players in the NFL draft because Joey Porter, the son of the former linebacker Joey Porter of the Pittsburgh Steelers, who was an all-pro, is an absolute dog just like his pops. And my thought here, if James Bradberry earns a big contract in free agency, similar philosophy if Miles Sanders were to walk and the price tag is too high. You replace those guys with two players who I think can play immediately in Bijan Robinson and Joey Porter Jr., and they can be impact players for your team. 11 pass breakups in 10 games for Porter on 30 targets. He only gave up 15 catches for 143 yards and a goose egg for touchdowns. Really good size and length, so he can play off ball but press you at the line of scrimmage at 6'2", 194. And as I said, he will skip Penn State's bowl game. And there are a lot of big questions for the Eagles in free agency. James Bradberry, 1 year, $10 million contract. I think he's going to try to go elsewhere to get a bigger deal, bigger than what Philadelphia can offer him. C.J. Gardner-Johnson, also going to be a free agent. That's why it could be key that the Eagles target a cornerback in round one, and I believe there are few cornerbacks in this draft better than the likes of Joey Porter. Two tight end now. Now, this is coming from ESPN as we kind of do our mock draft roundup here with what other publications think the Eagles could do. And of course, as we get closer to draft time, we'll continue to give you these great breakdowns and analysis. Notre Dame tight end Michael Mayer is having an awesome season. And this guy, everybody wants to call the next coming of a good tight end Baby Gronk. I'm not going to do that. All I'm going to say is that Michael Mayer is a beast. Made an awesome play against USC this past week. And his numbers, given that Notre Dame has had porous quarterback play, awesome. 67 grabs this year for the Fighting Irish, 809 yards, 9 touchdowns, average yards per catch of 12.1. A lot of you watching right now are probably like, well, we have Dallas Goedert. Last year we signed him to that contract extension. Dallas Goedert, before he got hurt, was looking like the best tight end in the NFL, in my opinion, outside of Travis Kelce. Why would the Eagles need another tight end? Well, a lot of teams in the NFL, including Philadelphia, running 2 tight end sets because it makes the defense guess, and it's very difficult to go up against because you're not sure which guy's going to be a pass catcher, which guy's going to be a run blocker. Michael Mayer can certainly do both. From The Athletic, and this is kind of a popular pick out there for the Eagles inside that top 10, Clemson defensive tackle Bryan Bresee. This guy is a load to defend for opposing offensive linemen because he's physical, he's feisty, and he's fierce. Dane Brugler, The Athletic's NFL Draft Insider, said this: General Manager Howie Roseman won't need any convincing to target a defensive lineman. Of course, we know that's a position of priority for Philadelphia with their team-building approach, especially a prospect like Bryan Bresee, who has the athletic traits and intangibles worthy of a top 10 pick. Jordan Davis and him on the same interior would be a problem for blockers. And if you go back to the Eagles in the early 2000s with Joe Banner and then with Howie Roseman, they've always gone after offensive linemen early in the draft and defensive linemen early in the draft, whether it be edge rusher or defensive tackle, guy like Fletcher Cox. That's why they could look to go that direction as well. A name to watch late in the first round. It's the Alabama running back in Jahmyr Gibbs. A lot of the focus on today's show on who the Eagles could select with that Saints selection because it could be a premier and immediate impact player. Later in the first round, let's say they don't go after a guy like Bijan Robinson because they value a different position there. Maybe they go Jahmyr Gibbs, who's having a great year for Alabama, and like Bijan Robinson, he's not the player of him, but can catch the ball out of the backfield as well and be a Swiss Army knife for Nick Sirianni and Shane Steichen's offense. 136 carries this year for Gibbs, 850 rushing yards, average yards per carry of 6.3, but on top of that, 42 catches for 378 yards, so actually more production through the air than Bijan Robinson. Brugler again on Gibbs, and this is a pick that Brugler likes for Philly. The Eagles have not drafted a round 1 running back since 1986, but with 2 picks in the opening round and Miles Sanders set to hit free agency, maybe they'd break trend for the right player. Jahmyr Gibbs is a sudden athlete with the vision, acceleration, and receiving skills that are ideal for this Eagles offense. The Eagles also could go with an edge player like Ohio State's Zach Harrison instead, but an offensive backfield with Jalen Hurts and Gibbs would be fireworks, and the same can be said for an offensive backfield of Jalen Hurts as well as Bijan Robinson. So, hey, we do it all here on Philadelphia Eagles Now, breaking down some future draft prospects that the Eagles could look to target, several names to certainly keep your eye on with Championship Saturday coming up this weekend, and a lot of those players, some of those players set to play in some of those games and then in the bowl games as well. So, if you love the Philadelphia Eagles, I want to test you. Do you love the Birds? Then type me down below. And if that's the case and you haven't subscribed, you ain't alive, folks. Make sure you hit that subscribe button for daily videos on the Philadelphia Eagles. E-A-G-L-E-S. We appreciate all the support. Thanks for tuning in.